Alrighty. So let's take a look and see what we have done here. So, okay, so we've got our we've got our base starts here. As you can see, I've got, I've got my pretty much my building's pretty close to being done, and so what I'm going to work on now is actually a couple of different things. So I've got my window here, and I've got my two panel window here. And what I'm going to also do is I'm going to take and clone this over here like so. And so I'm going to also do a copy of this here, and I'm going to grab this one here, and I'm going to stack another where is it at here? So I'm going to stack another, stack an edit poly on top of this, and essentially grab the polygon here in the center here, and delete, and then I can go back and start working on this thing here. And so one of the things that I'm doing is I'm going to just go here and scale. And before I scale, I'm going to go actually into the pivot and affect pivot only, and I'm going to center through the object. And the reason I'm doing that is because now I can actually scale it down like so. So I'm just going to kind of, oops, there we go, make sure that we're in there. There we go. And so I'm making sure that it's in there, and I'm going to basically go in and I'm going to shift this, and I'm going to shift this, and then say OK. And then what I'm going to do is go in and need to be on the polygon. So I'm going to just go in and I'm going to attach these three here. So they're attached together now. And then I can go into the vertices here. And I've got a hotkey for collapse. I'm just going to collapse these all together in the little points here. So now that this is all one piece, I'm going to go into I'm going to go into element here, and I'm going to, oh, you know what, I did not collapse the center pieces here, so I'm just going to collapse these, oops, make sure I got all this here, and collapse that, so that should be, something's not right. What did I grab here? Oh, I just grabbed a little bit too many pieces. There we go. So collapse that. So now if I go in element here, I should be able to grab the whole thing, and I'm going to scale that so that it matches that frame right there. And so that's a nice nice additional piece. And so with that in mind, I should be able to kind of snap in these pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the effect pivot, and I'm going to snap to the vertice here, and I'm going to grab this and turn on my snap here, and I'm going to grab that, and it'll snap right in like so. And so what I'm going to do then is, and so this is just the window here. So what I can do then is I can actually kind of piece that all together And so I've got all that. I'm just checking my email, so just making sure I don't miss anything super important. So that way now I can pretty much take off my effect pivot here. And I was thinking about this, and I kind of like having this little feature here. So that's something I can build in later. I'm not too worried about it. I can just swap out these pieces, but for now I should be able to snap that in like so, and with that snapped in, I can then go in and basically go into the instance here, and I'm going to grab the edit poly, and I'm going to grab that mesh, and I'm going to hit delete. And so just by deleting that mesh, now I've got now I've got my window basically framed in there. Everything looks good. And then if I want, I can go into and scroll down, and I can go into attach here. And if I attach that, that basically snaps all that window in there like so. So you can really quickly kind of snap in your information and kind of put it in how you want. And the same thing kind of goes for these pieces over here. You can see those are knocked out, and I can easily go in there and kind of build up and put in just different pieces and dropping them in accordingly. And so you can see here, oops, I didn't want to attach anything weird, so I'm just going to make sure that that's good to go. And then now I can go in and I can these must be instances, so oh, you know what, I think I accidentally added something in there. I think I accidentally added an attachment in there, so let's go back and so we're just going to go into the edit poly here. I'm going to attach that window. Done. Right click. So now I can select other things and not have multiple pieces all over the place. So that's something that's really simple to do, really simple to work with. I'm going to grab. So this is my instance for that window right there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this instance, and I think I'm going to just do, I'm kind of debating, do I want to do a three-tier system like that, or I can do a two-tier system, or maybe even I don't know yet. I'm kind of thinking about that. So I'm going to grab this here, and we will again add a edit poly on there, and I'm going to go into polygon and grab my two windows here, hit delete, and that deletes everything out, which is nice. And like I said, I can always add in additional different pieces and things like that. So I'm going to go in this piece here. I'm going to actually drag this up, and we're going to do a copy of that. So that's by itself, and I'm going to grab it into the hierarchy, affect my pivot, hit snap, and then grab this and snap it onto the corner like so, and then take off my effect pivot, and I should be able to snap that right into my window here, which looks good. and I think that looks all good, not too bad. And I'm going to go in and I'm just going to snap that, and I'm going to copy that. Actually, you know what, before I do that, before I go in and play with that, I'm going to just add a UV map here, just to kind of clean up the edges. And you can see here that the UV map needs to be kind of fixed. So I'm just going to go here. Let's see here. And let's see here. Let's go flatten mapping. Say OK. That's going to flatten everything kind of weird. And I'm going to add in show my checker pattern here. And let's go to edge here. Let's turn that off so I can start seeing some things. Alright. And I'm just going to start stitching some of these pieces together. And this just is saving me time. That's all it's doing. I'm not going to pay attention to the there we go. You know what? I'm not liking this, so let's do it this way. This just doesn't feel like it's working with me, so I'm going to do it a different way here. And the first way I'm going to do it is we're just going to do a flat old planar. I'm going to fit it in the XYZ and turn off the planar, and then let's go in and scale that like so. And then I'm going to grab this one and oops, undo. There we go. Let's grab this one, and I'm just going to scale. Grab that, and let's grow that selection. Let's grow the selection a little bit more. Just making sure that oh, you know what? I know what's wrong with it. Alright. So this one, and this one. So I'm going to just grab this, grow, right click, break it, and scale it down. Grab this one, grow, that should be all of that, right click, oops, break it, and scale it down. So that's my base window, like so. And let's grab this. It's undo. grab, so this is my frame here. And let's see if we can just flatten that particular mapping. And let's see if we can stitch some of this stuff together here. And I can do a trim map too down the road here, so I'm just gonna kind of piecemeal some of this stuff together here. So I'm gonna grab this. And stitch that in like so. And then let's just grab this whole thing, and rotate it. Like so, grab that, and let's just move. And I can work on scale and stuff like that down the road here. I'm not too worried about it. I just want it flattened out so I don't have to like mess with it down the road here too much. And that looks good, you know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too worried about content and things like that. Though I do, if you do notice, the G and everything is backwards. And so if I just kind of simply scale it over like so, it flips, the normals flips properly. So, all right, so that one is good. We're going to get out of that. And again, snap that in place like so. Grab this, hit attach. There's windows all over the place now. We got windows in there, and some of these windows I can go in and I can individualize and snap or whatever. But for now, you know, this looks okay. This is what I kind of want. You know, I'm going to. I've got this window here that I can, you know, pick some out and kind of play with some. But I've got a nice kind of base now, and so, you know, let's go here, and I kind of like this window, so I'm gonna go into add another edit poly here, and I'm just going to actually keep this one real simple. So this one's going to be, let's see here, we're going to go into polygon, let's inset a little bit, like so. Actually, let's inset and let's grow that by 1, and let's actually detach that. Oops, that did. Yep, that did. Let's go back here. There we go. And I'm going to actually detach it to as an element. Say OK. So it's still there in those. So that's good. And then go into edge. Grab the loop on that edge. So like so. And I have a hotkey for the loop or the ring and stuff like that. So I have that. And then we're just going to go into connect. I'm going to go in and grab, make sure preserve UVs is on. And so this is perfectly centered now. And I'm going to turn off my snapping so it doesn't really screw with anything. So I'm going to put in something simple like that. And I'm still in edge mode, so let's chamfer that. Like so. And let's go into and loop this, and let's connect that down the center, and let's chamfer that and say OK. And so with that in place, I'm going to go to polygon, grab my 4 polygons with a subtraction of these two, and it's simply extrude like so. And so for all intensive purposes, that's done. So now I've got kind of an interesting setup there, and I just need to go in and clean up now. Let's see here. I just need to go in, make sure everything's looking good so far. And I can go in and add different materials down the road here. I'm not worried about materials. I just want kind of a rough layout so I don't have to go in and deal with everything down the road here. Alright. So going into, I got to deal with this window yet here. So I think what I'm going to do for this window is it's actually this one here, and I got the 2 windows up there. Let's do this, and I'm going to scale this one over here like so, and go into element, scale down, and I think that's pretty close. I don't know if I want to do 3. Let's actually do it like this then. So I'm not happy with the idea of, so I'm going to just go into vertice mode. I'm going to grab these, I'm going to move this all the way over, I'm going to grab these, and I'm going to move that one down. And so then I should be able to grab this and just kind of snap it like so. Kind of grab this and make sure they're in the right spot here. All right. With that in mind, bam. Grab that one. And I should be able to attach that. And there we are, all filled up. And so now I just need to go through and kind of start playing with all the other stuff that I'm working on here. Something along the lines of the doors and all of that stuff too. So those are bits and pieces that I need to deal with as well. And you can see now, just by dealing with this little bit of stuff here, it's kind of, you know, I've created a really simple, in a couple hours, I've created pretty much a whole cityscape here. And I need to do sidewalks yet. I'm actually looking at tiling this stuff here. So one of the things that I'm going to have to do is kind of adjust my street sets here and put in different things like that. So that's something I want to do. And I'm going to work on dumpsters here. So just kind of piecemeal this together here one by one. And I need to create some trim here for all intensive purposes. So I have some different ideas of different trims, so the buildings change up a little bit more. And right now, like I said, this isn't really textured. It's just kind of placing things in the right spots. So, you know, this is essentially what I'm looking for. What else do I need to do? I need to clean up the corners, things like that. And yeah, so I'll just start with little things like that. So that is the next thing. All right. And the next thing too is signs and stuff like that. So just get the building foundation down first. Like I said, this is just one piece here, so I'm not too worried about that. And then I need to kind of work on stuff. So I'm going to save it off real quick here. And start with some other things too. So these windows down here, these are actually quick fixes, so I'm going to just do that real quick. These are solid windows with no real frame. So I'm just going to add in my edit poly real quick here. And go to polygon and actually just inset just a hair. So like so. And I'm going to extrude that in like so. And so that gives me kind of the window frame for each one. Maybe pull it out. I think it's a little bit too deep for what I want. So there's my window frame there. And I'm going to do the same thing for this here. So I'm going to add my UV on here. Edit poly on here. And go here. And inset, just you can hear my cat in the background probably. And let's pop that in like so, just real simple. And as mentioned before, these are simple window frames. I'm not gonna spend too much time on them. I'll put decals in there and different things down the road here. So I'm gonna get out of that one, go here, edit poly, inset, and extrude. That solves that problem. And another edit poly. And let's extrude that. There we go, like so. And that looks solid. And then I just need to start putting in some of these doors here. And I'm going to just grab my reference that I'm using here, and like so, and just kind of zoom in and look at some of these doors. So this one's kind of got they've got a lot of wood doors here. You know, this one's just the brick building type of thing. And these are just kind of the glass doors. Kind of can keep this simple, especially if I want it like an old school. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to do something like this. So what I'll do is I will detach this as an element first, go into edge mode, grab this, and control backspace, grab this, move it all the way up. Should be able to ring that, and then what I'm going to do is connect and chamfer. And the chamfer that I'm going to do is real quick towards the end here, like so. And so with that in place, now I can grab the polygon, grab this, extrude it inward just a hair. So there's my door extrude. And then if I want, I can break that further apart. And you know, I can put in like a glass door, I can put in, you know, and I can do something simple. I think what I'm going to do is just detach it again as another element, and then I can go into the edge mode here. Actually, let's see here. Let's go into the polygon. And I'm going to just move this out just a hair so I don't have to select everything. And let's do this. So let's go in the edge mode, grab this and loop it, connect, like so. Let's chamfer that one, like so. Say OK, loop that, connect. Let's do 3. Like so. Chamfer this one. And go into polygon, grab these two, and extrude just a hair, just like so. Grab that. There we go. So that's one door. And did I use that door at all? There we go. So I used the door there. Looks like I'm going to have to move some things around here, like my sidewalk and stuff. But that's okay, no big deal. And we're going to make some road pieces here, so I don't have all that kind of lined up. And let's go grab that again, and grab all of this. So Let's go plus, plus, and that's all that one. And let's grab that one and then plus, plus. Okay, so that is all my doors selected. And I'm going to clone as an object. So there's that. Once I've got this done as an object, I don't need to grab this one here. And snap that in the corner like so. Like this. We can actually move this all the way back. And I actually kind of like this idea, so what I'm going to do is grab the edge, grab that one, oops, grab these two little top pieces like so, shift up once, shift up again just about towards the top there, and shift up again like so. And this, like so. And the top level, grab this, and I think I'm going to just move it over here like so. Copy that. So I'm going to grab this piece in the edit poly, go into polygon, select this one in the back here. Make sure that, actually there's 3 in the back here, so click all those, hit delete. And I like the, so I'm just hit attach. And there we go. So I can go in and clean up things like edges and stuff like that later. I'm going to grab this one and grab the same. Hit delete. And there we go. So now everything should have a little door, so on and so forth. And I'm going to make some little parts here. And I think everything should be good. Okay, so with that in place, I'm just going to start up and start with a little bit different process here. Alright, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple different things. So one of the things I'm going to do is, for now, I'm going to just grab all of this and I'm going to move it off over to the side a little bit more, like so. And you know, honestly, I'm going to freeze selection. Actually, I'm going to freeze selection on everything here. So now when I look at this, now I've got a nice blocked out area, and I just need to go through and start kind of doing everything else. Alright, so what else are we going to do? Okay, so let's start in, and this is basically why they call it gray boxing here, is just because you're kind of blocking out a level. Now, so generally what I do is I don't use spheres anymore. I kind of stopped that process. And I do a box. So I do a box like so, and I pretty much go into said box. We're just going to do 1 by 1 by 1. And first thing I do is add a turbo smooth, and then I add another turbo smooth. And then so I generally tend to use stuff like this. And I use it because it's just nicer, cleaner geometry. And so then I can go in and toss an edit poly on there, or convert it to an editable poly, and do things like that. So I've got this fixed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into let's see here. I'm going to go into polygon mode here. And I'm going to just dump half of this and half of this. Make sure everything's selected, and delete. And so doll, scale, and so I'm going to grab this and start with adding a couple of these, not many, just a couple. So I'll add one here. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to add one there. And I'm going to copy one. And then what I'm going to do with the copy is, and this is where, okay, so I'm going to go in with the copy, and I'm going to go into edge, grab this one, let's chamfer this slightly, and so by doing that, I can now just grab half of the vertices here like so, stretch that, and then go into the top level, and let's rotate that 180. And let's see here, I think I have a 3-window system over here. And we're just going to kind of bring this up over here. I think I'm going to scale it like so, maybe squash it a little bit more, and there we go. And I just want some simple. Grab that, move that over here. That's 180. grab that one and just kind of place that over like so. And as you can see, I'm working on stuff, and because it's frozen, I'm seeing both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go in and unfreeze all. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to right click and go to Object Properties, and I'm going to turn on backface culling so I can see through. And so I should say OK. So now I can actually like zoom around and see stuff. And I'm still going to go in and I'm going to freeze selection. So at least now I can like kind of zoom around and see things a little bit better. So so I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start adding some billboards here, which are actually pretty easy to deal with. And I need to work on some cars, and I'm going to work on kind of a futuristic sci-fi style. And let me go here to find my and see if I can find it here. I have my sheet. Maybe I'll just open Photoshop. That'll do it too. Look at Photoshop. I have to do it anyway. So. Here we go, YouTube PSD. All right, so, and part of this I had actually was, there we go, was actually doing a dumpster. So I'm going to do some dumpsters in the back here. And I'm going to just grab this and let's go into Scene Explorer. So I've got my dumpster, and we're just going to unfreeze my dumpster here, like so. I'm going to hit Alt-Q, and so I'm going to just start bringing in my dumpster. Right now it's just a box, convert it to an auto poly, go into and start shaping this out here. So a little bit like that. And polygon. Let's detach it here. Element. Say OK. And the first thing I'm going to do with it is go into and extrude. Scale out like so, slightly curved in, like so. Go into edge mode, grab this, grab the loop. Let's connect. Like so. And alright, so that looks pretty decent. It's kind of the point that I want. Loop that around like so. Let's do another connect real quick. And let's do a connect at 1. And then let's do connect. And let's do 3. Looks good. Let's chamfer that one, but we're just going to do a small chamfer like so. And go to polygons. All right. And so I'm putting a NURMS on there, NURMS toggle poly, and I'm just going to move, I'm just checking the NURMS toggle poly, and so, it's little things like this. And so I'm going to probably take these two, actually, see if we can scale them larger like so. Actually, I'll think about that in a second here. All right, so let's go into edges. Let's just do another chamfer on that real quick. Let's go really tiny. And so that chamfer, what that chamfer does is adds n-gons to it. Let's see here. Maybe let's undo that. And grabs that. this. Let's make sure I got the right things going on here. That. Alright, and so that basically is like so. And if I want, I can actually just kind of move that down. I don't want these as prevalent. And I want maybe a little bit wider. Let's see if we can scale those up. Just something like that. Okay, so that's my start of my cover. I think that's okay. And I'll clean that up in a second. The edges look good. I'm going to grab this piece here, go into polygon mode, let's inset. Actually, let's do this. Let's go. Let's go on the ring. Let's add another. Connect here. Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm going to grab, oops, undo, and OK. Grab that, move it down like so. Grab this one and move it down like so. I don't think I want this one, so I'm going to control backspace that one out. And grab this one, and let's do another connect. I only need one connect, say OK. And with this, I'm going to grab these two pieces. I should mirror this down the road here, but I'm just kind of playing around right now. So I'm going to grab these two pieces and move them up like so. Grab this one here and move it like so. And I'm going to have to eventually just do half here, so I'm going to think that's what I'll do real quick here. So yeah, I'll just let me see if I grab the. So I'll go into edge mode here, grab this one, and like so. Grab my polygons, extrude those outward like that, like that. That looks good. And I can clean up some of that down the road here. Grab this edge. Let's connect the edge. Actually, let's grab the loop here. Like so. Oops. Connected the edge. Let's grab like that. And then let's grab this edge and hit plus, and then grab and here we go. Alright, so that looks pretty solid. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these pieces here. Actually, Let's inset it just a hair. Extrude that in. Put a sign on that. I'm going to grab these here. Extrude those out. Push them back. Actually, you know what? Let's push them back a little bit like so. And just grab that, and let's grab that, and hit delete. And now I'm going to have little gaps in here, which is okay, because I can grab and go into vertice mode here. And I can grab the target weld and just start snapping these pieces over here like so. And grab this. Let's scale that over just a hair. And again, I can mirror this. I'm just trying to get it relatively close. So I think that is kind of the idea I had for my kind of sci-fi style dumpster. And so what I was going to do is grab these polygons here on the edges, and that's going to be where the let's undo that. Let's so extrude. Like so. And let's see here. Now when I mesh smooth it, it's going to look really, really weird because I'm not putting in my edge loops. But I don't think I really want too much of this. You know, like, I really don't want too high of a poly count for this. I'm going to see what I can deal with making some just decent maps and things like that. Let's undo that. Grab that. Just going to add a little bit of a chamfer to it, like so. Let's do the same thing for that. And yeah, I kind of like that shape. So I'm not going to go too much more into this. I think I can texture a lot of it the way I need it to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Polygon here. I'm going to grab my element here, and I'm going to just slightly just lift it up here. Well, actually, I'll lift it up here like so. And then I'm going to grab the border here, which is this open piece here, and scale it inward like so. And I'm going to do the same thing for this border piece up here. Just scale it inward like so. And the next thing I need to do is, let's go element, let's drop this down. And I don't need to like have it like super tight against each other, but just that bitty crack, like it's open, and then that actually leads me into this, where I'm going to have to do this. So I'm going to go in and grab polygon, grab this one and this one, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab this one, and this one, and I'm going to slightly extrude it out, not too much, something like that. I think that looks good. And then what I'm going to do is, let's go into this one, and I'm going to just scale this one in like so. Grab this and scale those in just a hair. And then I'm going to just match like so. And I'm going to grab this one, and grab this one, and grab that one. And grab that, and slightly move it up. And then grab this, this, and this. And I'm going to extrude those. And I'm just slightly move those up. So that now is my I think that's my my dumpster. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. I think that's actually really easy to look at. All right, go out of this. So I'm going to actually go into my scene editor here, where I've got my dumpsters. So this is dumpster 1. And then I'm going to just actually delete my 2 and 3. So I'm going to hit delete on those. And I'm just going to move this one back like so. Oh, looks like I have a door here that I didn't deal with. So, and I'm going to move I should have instanced that, but it gives me kind of the right idea. Let me just angle a little bit. And then let's see if I can go to my camera here. And so I see my dumpster. There's my other dumpster. And there we go. So I'm going to just, looks good. Alright, so that should give me the base of what I've been working with. And so next week I will be working on just populating a little bit more of the signs. You know, oops, not the camera, I want to go here. And so I want to, you know, populate some of the signs for the roads, you know, just billboards and things like that. I'll probably look at designing a car real quick. I didn't really think about that this week. So, you know, it will, like, I'll just get little different things in there, and we'll go from there. Alright, so thanks so much for watching. Alright. So, let's see here. Today I'm going to be working on, so I've got dumpsters kind of taken care of, and I got the dumpsters taken care of. They're modeled out. Now I kind of want to start personalizing the cityscape a little bit more. So I'm going to add in, some signs, that type of thing. I want to add in some more, just different pieces here. And so, starting off, let's see here. So these are my pieces over here. I'm going to just grab these two pieces like so, and we're just going to move this kind of over here, and I really didn't use these, so I'm not too worried about it. But I want to clean up some little pieces like these things here, going through and kind of cleaning up that. And I'm going to start adding a little bit more personality to everything as well. So I need to go in and kind of play with different things here. So I'm just trying to find a spot that I want to play with. So I'm going to start off with kind of the cityscape for signs, and I've got my scene up here. I'm just going to grab that, and I'm going to grab that like so, and actually I'm going to close one of these so I don't oh, that was still closing from last night, so okay, so I'm not going to worry about that. Alright, so I'm going to go in here and start making some signs up. So I'm going to use this as my base over here, so I can kind of see and kind of put some signs up. And you know, I want to do some of these cornered signs here like that. I want to do some this type of sign here. So just little simple pieces, and I think those are going to be what I'm going to start off with today. So I'm just going to grab my snap tool here, and so I'm going to try and keep things within the there we go. Go with the plane first of all, and we're just going to snap it. I think my grid points are off, but I'll just go 10 by, let's do 4 and see what that looks like. And I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees in the Y. And kind of snap that up, something like this. And so one of the things that I'm going to do is something along the lines of like this. So this is going to be one of my billboards here. And I'm just going to piece it together, and I'm going to look at how some of these signs are like kind of pieced on there. And so I liked, where was that sign? I like this style sign, so I'm going to have actually four little light posts on there, and I'm going to add some thickness to this real quick. So I'm just going to convert this to an editable poly, and grab the plane mode, go here, just extrude it out just a hair. And I don't need to see the back of it, so I'm not too worried about that. So that's one of my signs, and then I'm going to just kind of, actually I think I'm going to grab the whole thing here, and I'm just going to slightly scale it down. I just don't like how thick it is. And then I'm going to create something simple, probably just a box here. I'm just going to create it on the ground real quick. A rectangle, move it up like so, convert to an editable poly here, and grab my edit poly and scale it down, something like that. Probably move it down like this. Let's inset it a little bit. Let's just go at numbers here. So I'm going to inset like that, and then we're going to scale something like that. Extrude just a little bit. And I'm going to inset it again. And then extrude, or kind of square it off like so. And even though this is like really simple, really like basic, and set that, and then I'm going to extrude not so much in there, but something like this. Probably scale it down a little bit. And move it. Alright. So I'm going to grab a curve here. So I'm going to go here, grab a circle. Actually, let's just do an arc once. Let's not do that. So an arc is something like this. And grab, let's see how to do this. I haven't done this in a while, so I don't know. Don't think it changed at all, but so you can go here and you can extrude along a spline and just pick that, and that is going to arc it like so. So the problem is, let me see here. So let's see here. Pick the hinge here. Oh. There we go. Come on here. Let's try this again. Alright, here we go. Got the hinge picked. Got the segments. I'm going to keep this at 0. And I'm not going to twist it. And I'm not going to taper it. Oh, my angle is off. So let's see if we can fix the angle. And let's do this at Y is 90. And let's do it at Z, which is 90. Actually, something along the lines of like that. And alright, let's rotate. Something like that. Let's go to the edge mode here. Grab undo this on here. And we're going to scale that all the way down. Like that. And just kind of shape it a little bit better. I don't like the way the curve is kind of spinning around here, so I'm just kind of shaping it around. Something along the lines of like this, and let's here. Sometimes working so small causes some issues, but all right. So I'm going to go into the pivot point, affect the pivot. We're going to just grab that pivot though and come on here. Let's snap to the center face, and let's see if we can just let's go face, and let's do center face. So let's see if something along the lines of that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there we go. So the nice thing about that is I can just simply rotate and rotate it something like that. And I'm going to grab this here. And just grab this, grow, and move a little bit. Alright, so now that that one's up there, I'm going to just grab that and something, probably move it down a little bit like this. Maybe grab let's grab the vertices here, and I'm just going to grab some of these and start pulling it inward and a little bit down. And there we go. So I'm going to just do this. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to grab these 4 windows, and then I'm going to align it. Let's see here. All right. And then I'm going to grab and attach, like so. Call this, I need to start naming my stuff, so billboard 1. We'll do a better name here, billboard underscore lamps. All right. Oops, undo that. There we go. Let's start with some of this stuff up here. So something along the lines of that. So grab that one. I'll probably do another one of these here too. So just hit Shift, OK, rotate it on the Z-axis 180, and let's do something like this one down here. And we can always move things around here accordingly. So I can always go into the elements here and subtract this one and just grab all of these, actually rotate them and move them into the wall a little bit more. So that looks good. Alright, so that's one of my signs. So the next sign I want to work on is, let's see here, I'm going to do one of these vertical signs, but I'm going to play with it a little bit. So I'm going to do a couple different ones. Oops. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Alright, so that's one of my signs. And let's go do another one here. I'll just grab this piece out here and I can delete it. I wasn't using it anymore. So start off with a box. Let's do something simple like this. I'm going to measure it up against the wall here. So something along the lines like this. Yeah, maybe a little bit wider here. So something along the lines like so. Let's do, not 70. Let's do 7. And I'll do a small one like this. Yeah, I think a small one like this. And then this building over here has some bigger ones, so I'll do a double one. So I'm gonna do, I'll start off with this one here. So, and then I'm gonna do something simple. We're just gonna do a little box, and move this box up here like so. And I'm going to convert one of these into an editable poly. Actually, you know what? I'll just do one here. So I'm going to delete this. Do this actually a little bit faster. Sometimes it pays to think about things a little bit more when you do this. And sometimes it's a simple fact that if you, so let's inset this one. Let's do this by the numbers here. So we do box here like so. We're going to extrude it and then just move it down like so. And then we're going to inset. And then I'm going to actually collapse. So that turns it into the center. I go into vertice mode. I'm going to chamfer this once. And then I'm going to chamfer it again, but this time like so, something along the lines like that. And that is going to give me kind of the base of my idea here, and I'm going to just clean up the polygons real quick here. So I'm going to just target weld some of this stuff over here. Like so. And then I'm just going to go in this and extrude it. Probably a little bit smaller. Let's delete that. And then I'm going to go into cylinder and go into a cylinder, and I'm going to do one side, cap segments, none. Let's do 6, and let's do this really small. So 0.01, actually 0.02, 0.02, I think a little bit bigger here. Alright. And so sometimes when you're doing little things like this, yeah, that's pretty close. Something like that. Say OK. I'm going to do the same thing here. Alright, and then I'm going to basically go in, grab this, and attach these, and then go into my element and grab these and just start randomly rotating them. And it doesn't have to be a lot, just enough to make them so that they're not all like perfectly put on there. And you know, depending on how much detail you want to put in, that's fine. Alright, so now with that in place, I'm going to add a symmetry. I'm going to flip it. Let's go here to mirror. Oh. And let's do a flip. And let's just move my threshold down to 0.1. There we go. That should be welded together. And then I can actually collapse all, say yes. And I can actually go in this seam here, under the edge here. Control backspace that out, and that actually remove some polygons. And let's go into polygon mode, remove that side, and rotate it 90 degrees. and start popping it up here. Cancel. So let's put so. So I'm just kind of lining it up here just to get a base idea of how things look. Hold shift down, something like that. And that's one. So I'm going to actually grab, and I'm going to keep the same pivot point, so I'm going to attach these two pieces like so. So that's 1 point. And then we're going to do vertical sign. All right. So with the vertical sign on there, I'm just going to look at my stuff, see how some of it looks. So this is a little bit different. Pentax here. And let's also try like some of these too. So I'm going to play with those ideas too. So we're just going to let's see here. So let's go with the edge here, and let's do chamfer. And that's good enough, I think. And then we'll just kind of round out just the corners. All right. So that's my first sign. And I can do, some different graphic stuff here to kind of make that work a little bit better. But what I'm going to do now is just simply cut from face to face, something like that. Just to keep out the end guns, trying to clean those up as much as possible. I find that if I leave those in there, that's going to cause issues down the road. So just going to clean that up real quick here. So that one. And so and I can deal with the geometry later. I just want to get rid of this end gun stuff here. Not too worried about polycount at this point, but last one here. Alright. So with that in place, that gives me that piece of information, and then I'm going to do something like, I'm going to actually move this, not that way. Let's go into the top level here so we can actually move some of this stuff around. And I think that is actually, I like that, so we're going to move that one there. Move it a little bit outward here. That looks good. So there's one. And then I'm going to actually drag this one over here and copy it. And we're going to move this one up like so. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then grab that one over here. Alright, so rotate 70. Alright, actually 180 here. And I'm going to grab this one like so. Yeah, something like that. And then the nice thing about this sign is I can go into element mode, grab this element here, and I'm going to just drag this up a little bit, like so. Clone it to an element. I'm going to drag that up again, and clone it to an element. And then we'll go here, grab pretty much the top part of this, and drag that up like so. So that looks pretty interesting. So we got kind of a sign going on like that. So I'm going to just drag let's see here. So I'm going to just drag another sign down here, kind of like that double sign, and kind of do a dual sign there. And then I'm going to grab this one and yeah, I think I'll grab something like that there. And I'm going to play with that in a second. And just going to look at my reference again. And see what different signs I can get. So like this one's all kind of a one-way thing. This one doesn't really have anything down the pathway. But this one is my, like, I'm going to have multiple signs here. So I think I'm going to play around with this. Minimize that. Okay, so actually we're going to grab, since this one's stuck here, I'm just going to grab this one. Go into polygon mode, or delete these two. Grab this, and actually just should be able to scale it down, move it down, and let's grab the vertices here, and we're just going to move it over like that to create something like that. I think that'll look good. Back to the top level. I'm just counting the doors here. So this one's got one, this one's got one. That one's only got one door there. And this guy got two of the same signs. This one's got an overhead sign. I've got a plan for, I think, this part right here. So I'm going to do something there. This one has got the billboard, and then I think we're down to that one. So it's sign-wise, it looks okay, and I'm not building too much down there because I'm stopping out there. So I think I've got kind of my signs here. So we're gonna just call that a done. So I'm gonna grab that, freeze the selection. So, and then, you know, I always like testing out my camera here. So, you know, he gets up, he's got some of these two signs, spins around, he's got the cars. So, the big thing is I'm going to have a nice cityscape in the background there. I want to still put on some type of a ledge system. I think what I'm going to also do is I'm going to do a second camera in here. And the second camera is, instead of from the alley, I'm going to do so instead of from the alley, I think what I'm going to do is put another camera in here. So we're just going to go perspective. And I'm just going to do a simple camera here. So I'm going to start off with something really ridiculously simple. Alright. And I'll play with that in a second here, but I'm just going to do a render or something like that. So I'm going to just create a camera here just to... Okay, I'm going to just call this one the still. Like so. And let's see here. Let's go back to perspective and start looking at some of this stuff. Okay, so take off that. Let's freeze this. I need to constantly have this being selected. All right. What else do I need here? I want to do... So I'm going to do some futuristic cars here. And that's kind of the next step. But I'm going to actually grab one of these borders here. I'm going to grab one of this here, and I'm going to look at borders of the buildings. I'm going to see if I have anything. So I've got like kind of a ledge up here. I've got kind of a window ledge up there. This one's pretty much a base idea here, like so. A lot of these just kind of end, so I don't really want something like that. I want something a little bit more stylistic. So what I think I'm going to do is grab this one here. I'm going to snap alright, so we're just going to so I'm going to do, alright, I got an idea. So I'm going to collapse this here. And I'm going to go into polygons here. And I'm going to grab this. I'm going to turn off my snap here. Grab this one, kind of pull, undo this. Let's see if I can do less work by preserving a UV. do something like that. And then let's do edge mode. Grab like the edge here. And let's do a connect. We're going to do and I get this is a little bit high poly, especially for like a game kind of scenario, but that's okay because I'm just going to also do this and ring that, and let's do a connect. Oops, undo that. Let's do a connect. Only do one, and I'm going to actually move it down like so. Oh, you know what? I didn't measure this. Let me save myself some time here. So, all right. So the thing is, I need to have something like that. And so the reason I'm doing this is because actually the I'll show you here in a second. So what I'm doing is I wanted this side to be about the same thing as that side. So I'm going to do that. And now I'm going to go through my polygons, grab about every other one. I hope I measured this right. And I did. Awesome. I'm going to hit delete. And I'm going to grab these here. And let's extrude those out just a hair. Delete that. All right. And then the next part is actually pretty simple. So I'm just going to go grab these pieces here. And then we're just going to move them straight up and straight out. So something a little bit like that. And then let's see if we can do this real quick here. I'm going to just grab these here, subtract this, subtract my back ones, and I'm going to actually see if we can weld it. That's a little bit too much. That's a little bit too much. So that looks good. All right. So that now is another kind of topper here. Actually, let's do one more thing with it. So, oops, I do that. Let's see if there we go, and let's just see if we can ring that up. There we go. And so now, let's go. Let's just shift and drag this over. Oh, you know what? It might be because it's, some of the stuff is frozen, but just making sure. Oh, I know what I did. There we go. Let's turn off center face. Let's see how well that works out. There we go. Snaps right to it. There we go. So, with that in mind, let's it just doesn't like snapping to. I think it's the frozen thing. So I might have to unfreeze this, but we'll see if we can get it in there first. All right, so let's turn this around 180 and move it over. Yeah, I don't think it likes snapping to the frozen. So, oops. All right, so that's close. It's all right. Let's see if we can unfreeze all. Snap it. There we go. All right. Again, I see that I didn't name my stuff, so that tends to be an issue down the road. When you're in progress of working and stuff like this, especially if I'd have to hand this off to somebody else, you got to go in and you got to name everything, because otherwise you're looking at a ridiculous amount of files here. And so, it's just something that, let's see if I can grab. There we go, and I still have to fix the corners and stuff like that, like the corners over here, but let's just rotate 90 and go back to move here. There we go. And this is not end of the world stuff here, so that we can fix down the road here, so I'm not too worried about that. But I do want to check our camera 1, and we still, like I was worried about it getting too tall as it moved through, and so yeah, I was worried about that a little bit, but I'm not too upset about that right now. That looks like I can still see the skyline. I'm good with that. And I don't know, I'm looking at this and I think I want to add in some, you know, like some of this angled stuff here. I believe this piece here. So I think I'm going to add in, I'm going to delete this row here. So I'm going to turn off my snaps here. And I'm going to just delete this row here. And the reason I'm deleting it is because I don't like how it kind of, it doesn't show me what I want it to see. So I'm going to grab this one here and I'm going to hit Shift, hit Snap, and let's move it all the way over here, and let's zoom in and start moving it down here like so, and rotate, I think 90. See, because look, if we go back to the camera, you can see that this adds a little bit more extra, like something else, something different, something interesting. You know, it breaks up that big wall. And so I'm going to go there and kind of fix that stuff. So I'm just going to copy some of these over here so I can it doesn't have to be all the way up, it just has to be cool enough that it fits what I want it to do. And let's see if we can grab this one and move it over there. And let's see, this would be 90, nope, 180. There we go. Grab that one. And see, that's the nice thing about these modular assets is, you know, when you really ultimately say, okay, I don't like this, and you want to fix it, it's something simple enough that oops, I didn't want to go into polygon mode. I wanted to go there. And so when I get something like this, there we go. I can really simply, that one's not quite lined up. There we go. And you know, you can easily swap out a couple pieces and not have to worry about remodeling an entire building, retexturing it. And so there we go. Now we've got like a little bit of ledge in there. And if I want, I can actually, you know, basically move this up and you know, flow through that. So that looks a lot better. So if I do camera again, you know, at least it breaks this ledge up here and it looks a little bit more interesting. And I can add in other things in there. I can add like little balconies or potted plants or something along those lines that kind of give me a little bit more information. And one of the things I was actually thinking about doing is putting like a little backdrop in here of, you know, so if I do transparent glass, I can actually do like a backdrop of different things in the background to give the illusion that there's actually space behind there. So that's something that I was looking at as well. All right, back to perspective. Let's see what we got here. All right, so what else? I got signs. I got And I'm going to have window signs, of course, and things like that. And so the next thing I want to do is I think I'm going to do a car. I think I'm going to do some sci-fi cars for next week. And so to do the sci-fi cars, I want to, let's see here, let's grab this, and to do a sci-fi car, you know, I'm going to look at, like, I don't want to go super shiny like this. I mean, something like this is kind of cool, but I don't want to do super shiny because I want something more average. I mean, this is like kind of a DeLorean feel is interesting, but it's not really that that what I'm kind of that mentality. Let me see if I just do cyberpunk car. You know, cyberpunk cars are kind of almost retrofitted older cars. You know, some interesting. I mean, this one doesn't look that far off. It's not. You know, and this one's back to the DeLorean stage, and so a lot of these I look at, I probably wouldn't go, but I kind of like an idea like this where, you know, it's very simple, very simple, very easy to do. I like the kind of boxy look, so something like that for reference I think would be really worthwhile as far as what I'm looking for. All right, so there's dumpsters. I got the cyberpunk cars. I wonder if let me see something once, and I can see my dumpster in there. That's good. Yeah, I'm liking that so far. So let's go back here, and you know what, I'm gonna just start blocking out a shape for the car. So I'm gonna select invert, and then let's freeze selection, and start off with this little bad boy car here. And I can always isolate. Control Q just isolates the box here, and box all poly, of course. I'm just going to start with some basic shape building here. Take off my snaps. I kind of like that boxier feel, something like that. And of course I can cut this in half. Go into edge mode. Let's connect it. Let's do 2 times here. Actually, let's do 3. And then I can grab that edge like this, kind of move that up like so, grab that edge, pull that like that. And I'm not trying to like model this car to you know, exact standards. Just trying to kind of create something. Let's move this one forward a little bit. Oh, it doesn't help that I kind of moved it diagonal as well. So let's fix that. Actually, it'll be easier just to do this. And actually, let's do this real quick here. So grab that. Let's connect it. 3 segments is fine. Let's get rid of half of it. And I'm just going to grab this loop here, scale it in. So it's basically like that. And something along the lines of like that. Round that out a little bit. Let's grab this one, round this back a little bit. This one, I just want to check my form. That's really all I'm doing here is is looking at my form for this car. So just yeah, so something like that. I think that looks okay. And let's cut in, just start cutting some shape in here. And so that starts with the first one. And let's cut a shape in here. And that gives me kind of a rough idea there. Let's grab let's do cut again, grab from here down to here. Like so. And if you guys have any questions while I'm doing this, feel free to ask. I mean, I'm putzing around here, but this is meant for the students, and if they want to learn anything or have any questions on anything, feel free. I mean, it's that's how we learn. So I think I'm gonna grab some of this and pull it out a little bit. And let's do a quick slice right here. And pull that out a little bit. Actually, let's grab that and see if we can pull that in a little bit. So I might wind up modeling actually 3 different cars here for the environment, like just to get me a sense of how I'm going to construct this. And right now I'm just boxing things out. I'm just getting that rough feel. I'm not worried about anything major. Just worried about basic rough feelings, rough ideas of how this car is actually going to kind of look. And I want to stay away from. I don't know if I want wheels on it or not. So let's just try and see how wheels look on it real quick here. I'm just gonna give it a rougher shape here. I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know how if I like the wheels or not. Yeah, the wheels don't. The wheels ain't feeling anything great to me here. So, all right. So now that I've got kind of this edge loop in here, I need to. Let's go into the information like so. And let's go into, let's go into here, let's go here. So I'm going to grab this loop, grab that loop, and grab that loop all the way around. And then I'm going to just chamfer it. Not that large, of course, but let's just chamfer it. And so what that's doing is it's rounding out the form. And I'm going to actually grab this one here and this one here. Let me see if I can grab this one all the way up here. And all right, so that's all that's doing is I'm chamfering it to get kind of my flush pattern in. And so you can see like the lines, I want to get that edge flow in there. So the lines here, I'm just going to actually scale and so that's going to scale it that direction, and then I'm going to scale it this, oops, let's do that. So I've scaled it vertically, and let's undo that. Let's grab. There we go. And so I scaled that, and so that looks okay. I'm just making sure that the edge flow. I mean, because that's what a car is. It's all about the loop and flow of your basically your idea here, your character, or here. So if I move this one down like so, I'm going to get a little bit of an indent there, something along the lines of like that. I'm going to grab this here. I'm going to scale that inward. Kind of move it back. I like it where it was, but I'm going to just try and keep these as tight as possible right in the beginning. Because if you don't, there we go. Because if you don't, you start losing that flow of that car. And so, I mean, you can see here that this car is not flowing very well. Like it flows and then it splits the flow. So I want to make sure that flow is, and this is where, push vertices. So you just want to make sure that that flow is what, like this needs to come out, and so you can see now that flow coming back up here looks a lot nicer. And then I can grab this piece here, and we can pull these up to kind of match that flow. Alright. And so now I just need to go in and then start fixing some of these triangles here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in that edge loop here. I'm going to grab this. There we go. And then let's chamfer that one. Really simple. And see that one, like, it flows well. It's got a nice, when you look at it, it flows very nicely. Let's turn off the grids for a second. So it flows very nicely. So that's kind of that mentality that I'm trying to maintain is keep that flow. And you can look at today's cars and see how they're built, and so it's like it's smooth curves and things like that, and that's really what I'm looking for when I build something like this. And basically maintain that flow. And so I kind of like that little hatchback feel. And then one of the things I'm going to do is, see, like this here, I'm going to grab this line here, and it should have grabbed all the way through. And I better check it before I do this, but it goes all the way around, so that's my loop. But you can see how the loop kind of is all over the place, so just simply straightening that out and maybe even pulling it in a little bit. That starts out, breaking out things. And let's pull this up a little bit. I want more of a, like, kind of blocky feel, kind of like a Gremlin sci-fi. And let's add another edge loop in here. So we'll just go here, ring, and I have hotkeys for the ring. I always find that to be something that really saves me a lot of time, is these hotkeys. And something like that, kind of that flat boxy look. So from here I've got my, and you're breaking these things into parts, and so from here you're breaking this into different pieces. So what I would do here is I would actually cut from here to here. So that is going to create the edge loop for that. I can actually close that out. And then I can actually go into Polygon and actually start manipulating some of these pieces so that they're not. And so you notice when I'm doing this, I'm spinning the model constantly. And to spin the model constantly, I'm looking at how things are kind of built together and flowing together. So now this piece here, I'm going to grab like so, and just start building my windshield down. So that's my kind of my windshield face right there. Grab these three and I can actually just kind of move them up. And so you get this weird, and you can see this weird edge here. If you go into edge and you go into turn, you'll hide these, and so you can actually just turn that edge like that, and that actually looks a little bit better. And so that fixes that bad geometry right there. And I've got a bad one up here, and I've got a bad one over here. So I need to fix these. And it actually can be, this can actually be fixed really simply. I can simply take this and cut this all the way back. So we're just going to cut it all the way back like so. Like that. And then that gives me a loop that I can control backspace out of. And I can fix that. You know, I can move this up here. And my cat's waking up from her nap here, so she's going to want to get fed in a second. And alright, so that one cleans up that one. And then this one's actually really easy too, because this one I can actually take this and cut over here, and then cut all the way through down like that. And so that's going to give me a control backspace that. And so that basically cleans up some edge loops. And I'm just, like I said, I'm worried about the shaping of the box. So, you know, some of these things I'm just going to grab here and start kind of flowing outward a little bit more instead of you know, getting that nice edge flow kind of, you know, and doing this, you know, most of the times we do this, we do it from, you know, you look at the top view, and so you can see how it's not straight across. I want that edge kind of below, and so the same thing needs to happen with all of these pieces here. And just by pulling that out a little bit, let's kind of and so something like that. And I like that. I think that works well. And go in the edge loop here. Grab that. Let's chamfer that. Make sure I got, I think, there we go. So that's smooth now. That looks good. I don't want to get too much geometry in there. I'm going to have to wind up breaking some of this apart in little bits and pieces here to kind of create some of the more edge flow. But, you know, with the car the way it is, you know, you want to get that curvature around the wheels. So I need to build that in. And if I have a little bit more geometry, sometimes it's easier to deal with. So we're going to just click that. Let's see if we can scale that down. And grab that one. And scale that down as well too. Maybe a little bit backwards. And And I kind of like that idea. It's just this little, like, I don't know, like a pizza delivery car. So I will, I don't know, I've been working on this for about an hour and 15, so I will be probably going to call it done for the day. And I'm going to actually save it while I'm thinking of it, because I can see this crashing on me anytime soon. And so then we're just going to add a symmetry on there, and flip, and there we go. So I think that is something really nice, really simple, really easy to get me started on it anyway. And let's see here. There we go. And so let's look at this. So we go to camera, and the car comes along. We see a lot of the car there. We're going to see another car there, kind of a sports car, and then we're going to see a car over there. So that looks pretty solid. So, and then let's do the other camera, and we have to model another car. But I think I can, once I get one done, I think I can like twist it around a little bit here to play with it a little bit more. But yeah, that's the base of my cyberpunk scene. So like I said, if you guys have any questions and you know, if you have any questions or like that, feel free to give me a holler or let me know in the chat room here. I was apparently working, so thanks much for watching.